Alright, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are here today with Isis by request, so let's get right into it. A quick cover of what Isis is in her kit. She's kind of known for her high burst potential, and also she has some utility with her abilities. For example, her 2 can possibly stun multiple targets for 1 second, which could be nice for just locking down targets, shutting them down from running away, things like that. Her 3 can silence and slow, and has some debuff potential with it as well. And her ultimate is really great at multiple things. You can heal allies with it, can kind of deter team fights, and just overall a really great ability for objectives as well, just kind of securing that. And her 1 is really good at applying on hit effects like items like Gem of Isolation and or Spear of Magus. Since it hits, you can potentially hit multiple targets multiple times with just 1 ability. It's really great for, you know, items like I said, Gem of Isolation and Spear of Magus. So if you're going to be playing Isis and Conquest, more than likely probably the middle lane, and you definitely want to have a start item in Conquest. So Vampiric Shroud is definitely the best bet for the current meta for mages to pick up, giving you a credible amount of sustain. Another thing is, if you just lane clear with your 1, allows you to really get a lot of benefit out of just lifesteal effects. So Vampiric Shroud gives a ton of sustain for Isis in the laning phase, as well as if you were to go into the tier 1 item called Tiny Trinket with additional lifesteal, and you'll notice as soon as you start using your 1, you're going to be regenerating a lot of HP and mana from that. The mana comes from the Vampiric Shroud part. And then you can build this up after you finish your boots. You can build this up into Bancroft's Talon, which works pretty well with Isis. A lot of magical power, a huge magical power spike as soon as you pick this up, a lot of lifesteal. The passive can work hand in hand with your ultimate, since your ultimate, it's on cooldown right now, but your ultimate pretty much, it does more damage and more healing the more damage is inside of it. So like if you were to get Krakened, the bar would quickly fill up, and as soon as you pop it, you get more damage and more healing from it. And so the Bancroft's Talon works kind of hand in hand with that passive. Or you can go into Pythagorean's Peace. If you plan on going with the Shoes of Magi and you're not going to have cooldown boots and you still want a little bit of cooldown, Pythagorean's Peace is a really great item for that. You get 10% magical cooldown, or not magical cooldown, just cooldown reduction in general, and then a massive magical lifesteal spike, and as well as a good bit of magical power. And the aura effect, as you should know, also applies to you. And if you're just looking to shut down healers or high health regeneration gods like Hercules, Shock Vamana, you can pick up Divine Ruin. So you can go with the Lost Artifact tier 1 item and then build it up in the Chronos Pendant after you finish your boots. You can go that if you want, but let's just stick with the Bancroft's Talon, or it's just Pythagorean's, whatever. And the Shoes of Magi, like I said before, you definitely want to just tier 1 item, go into boots, finish your boots if you're choosing, rather Shoes of Magi or Shoes of Focus, and then go back, finish your tier 1 item if you want. And then you can go into, you have a few options here. Now, if the match is, if you notice the match isn't really lasting that long, it's just a lot of action, then more than likely it's probably going to end pretty soon. So if you don't feel like you have time to build a stacking item like Warlock Sash or Book of Thoth, you can go straight into a penetration item of your choosing, and Spear of Magus was definitely the best bet for a penetration item for Isis. Like I said, to apply the stacks really easily, you just use your 1, and then boom, 2 stacks are already on 1 target or multiple targets, and there's just kind of shredding all their magical protections. Or if you notice you just having trouble with multiple physical gods on the other team, sorry, like if they have a lot of assassins or hunters that are just ganking you or just targeting you in team fights, you can pick up Breastplate of Valor and then go into Spear of Magus. Now you can switch these orders however you want. You can go Spear first, then Breastplate, whatever you feel like you need. And then on topic of like, if the match isn't going to be lasting too long, you can go into Rajahudi in this item slot, or you can pick it up instead of like Breastplate. You can just go like something like this. You can go the Spear of Magus into Rajahudi. This is like if a match is only going to be lasting like 20 minutes or something like that, 20 to 30 minutes. And just to get the maximum amount of magical power, you definitely want to pick a Rajahudi for all your mage builds. And then the whole store item, you just kind of sell that mid to late game. Whenever you feel it just doesn't make a difference for you and you just need that extra gold, so you sell that to pick up an additional item of your choosing, like Breastplate, whatever the case may be. Now, some other optional items that you can pick up, like I said, you can pick up the Gem of Isolation if you just feel like you want to just control the enemy. The Gem of Isolation easily applied by, like I said, the 1, or you can just kind of stun them, and then a couple seconds after they get stunned by your 2, they'll be slowed, allowing you to easily just catch up to them. Or you can build the Ethereal Staff if you just want to be... This is a pretty decent replacement for Warlock Sash. If you don't want to build the stacks for Warlock Sash, you can build into the Ethereal Staff instead of, of that. So you can go to that. The Book of Thoth, if you haven't seen what it looks like, it's pretty much a fairly decent stacking item. It's not the worst thing to delay it to later game, because the way the passive works, it's 3% of your total mana is converted to magical power. So the higher level you are, the more mana you have, and then the more of an impact this item will give you right away. So it's not too bad of a stacking item to pick up. Now, if you're going against multiple tanky targets, like they have a lot of warriors or a lot of guardians, whatever the case may be, Soul Reaver is definitely an item to help counter that. With the passive, doing the 50% of their maximum HP as additional damage, that is huge against targets with a lot of HP. So a really great counter item there as well. Now, going into actives, I have a few options. I would definitely recommend the Purification Beads, as always. It's such a great active. You can't go wrong with it. Don't forget, at the max tier, the tier 3, this also reduces all of your cooldowns by 3 seconds. So let's say, you're in a team fight and you really need to get your 2 back up, or whatever ability you want back up. You can pop this just for the fact that it reduces your cooldowns by 3 seconds, and then you can pop your abilities again. So you don't have to always use this just to break CC. You can use this just to reduce your cooldowns and get your abilities off in those, situations. If you're just looking for better team fight presence, Heavenly Agility is a pretty decent item for team fights, just a really supportive active that you can pick up too. And as always, you can make the spicy pick of picking up Blink and then just like doing something like that. You can do something just really spicy, play like that, and just kind of take your opponent just off guard. So that pretty much wraps it up for the build video. Hope this was helpful for any new ISIS players or new players to Smite. If you have any more questions, let me know in the comment section below. And for more build videos, you can check out my playlist on my channel. There's over 200 of them, so you definitely want to hit that load more button on the bottom, because there's just a ton of them. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.